Hi guys, I'm Pete from Ashton's Cars, and as a committed petrol head, I love hot hatchbacks. And of course I've owned several hot hatchbacks over the years, including what I consider to be some of the best of them, the Golf GTIs. Now, the GTI is the original hot hatch, and the one good thing about this car is it's now in its 8th generation. It has continued to develop that recipe. And where other manufacturers have sort of gone by the wayside a little bit with the sort of crossovers and the sort of electrification of ranges, Volkswagen has stuck with its GTI. But the GTI itself, it's had ups and downs over the years. It's had highs and lows, in my opinion. And I think for most people in the know in the automotive industry will recognise that the car sat behind me, the Mark 6 version of Golf GTI, is definitely one of the high points for the Golf. So I'm going to take you around this 2012 model that we've just had in and show you some of the features that mean that personally I think it's one of the best hot hatchbacks of all time. So let's have a look together. So I suppose it's a bit of a cliche saying the Golf GTI is the original and the best hot hatchback of all time, but you know, few cars really have bettered this recipe that VW has for making one of their standard hatchbacks into something rather a little bit special. The GTI is a car that's always been good quality. As I say, it's had highs and lows, but it's always been a good quality product that has stood the test of time, and it has evolved over that time as well. If you look at the Golf GTIs through the ages, from the Mark 1 right the way through to the latest Mark 8, you can see an evolution of the car. The Mark 6 for me is a sweet spot because cars of this era are a bit of a sweet spot in my opinion. This is a 2012 car, and that means it's got all the niceties that we're used to these days on cars, like electric power steering, like Bluetooth for our phones, but it hasn't got the overcomplicated screens and the frustrating driver aids that take away something from the driving experience. So this is a driver's car, but also thoroughly modern in the way it drives and the way it performs. The original recipe that Volkswagen had really for its Golf GTI was that it was to be as practical as the regular Golf hatchback, but with performance that would get the pulses racing of anyone who had just the slightest sniff of petrol in their veins. And they still do that. I absolutely adore these cars to drive. Of course, when you get to models like this, which is a Mark 6 car, the GTI was no longer the flagship of the range. There was a Golf R that was significantly more powerful than this car and four-wheel drive, but for my mind, the GTI is the one that follows the recipe closest. It's a two-wheel drive car, so you've still got that little bit more feel, I think, in the GTI. And there is such a thing, I think, as having too much power in a car. When cars like Golf Rs have the sort of performance almost of what would have been a supercar a decade previously, you know, you've got to question, is that really still a hot hatchback, or is it something else, a completely new division of vehicle? The GTI here has just over 200 horsepower, front wheel drive. This is a DSG model, so it's an automatic, but it's got the manual paddle shifters on the wheel. You can take control of that gearbox yourself and use the ratios as you wish. And being a DSG, it's a twin clutch system, so the changes are very, very fast and very, very precise. And this thing is an absolute weapon when you drive it hard. Our GTI that you see before you here is not 100% standard. Those are actually Golf R alloy wheels. They're 18-inch rims. Really set the car off nicely, I think. They do look the part. They are, however, I would say bordering on needing a refurb, so that's something that we might look at doing on this car before we sell it. You have got the twin exhausts at the back as well. Beautiful sound, which we'll listen to in just a second. We'll get it started up for you. And of course the car is finished in metallic black. Overall, very, very good condition. The odd minor little blemish like a stone chip here and there, but you expect that on a 13-year-old car. This one's done 91,000 miles from new, and well, it's got a full service history. It's been looked after properly, and it's sat on Michelin tyres, which tells me that it's had a bit of money spent on it by the previous owner. They've not skimped on it. On this side of the car, it does appear to be missing its VW wheel centers, so I've got a set of them on order. They will be getting fitted to the car as well. And the wheels, I did think they were black. Actually, they're a metallic grey colour, which really suits the car quite well. So my plan is probably to refurbish them in that colour, but I am able to refurbish them in black or silver if you're quick. If someone's watching this video on the day it comes out, I haven't done it yet, get in touch and I will get it sorted for you to have the wheels whatever colour you want. You can have them red if you want, to match the GTI stripes. And of course, that's another thing that I love about having a black one of these. The black with the red grille there is a classic VW Golf combination. Absolutely timeless and dates back to the original Mark 1. So for my mind, having a black GTI like this is sort of the peak of golfness. Back in the 70s, one of the reasons that the original Golf GTI was such an instant success was, for the first time ever, you had that performance on offer in a car that had uncompromising interior, in that it hadn't been compromised to make way for performance. This Golf GTI has exactly the same boot space in it as a regular Golf. Plenty of room in there for the family, fold down split level seats, and in the back, well, a sumptuous leather interior, complete with ISOFIX points and free inertia seat belts. So room in here for the family. In fact, it's just as comfortable and just as spacious and just as practical as a regular Golf. However, as a driver, you get to sit in this cockpit in these Recaro-based sports seats, and my goodness, they are so comfortable. They're well trimmed, as you can see, stitched leather, an interior that is focused for the driver, including, on this model, carbon fibre paddles on the steering wheel, on the flat bottom sports steering wheel that you have in this car, which allow you swift changes through the ratios on that DSG dual clutch gearbox, which is an absolute joy to use. I'll jump in behind the wheel and we'll start this car up for you. I'll say this one's done 91,738 miles. I'll just pop the key in and we will just do the startup sequence quickly. Saying it's due a service currently, which we're aware of. We will obviously be doing a service on this car prior to sale. That's those carbon fibre paddles, which you've got a good view of there when I'm looking at the instrument bay. And the steering wheel on it's an absolute joy. It's just so aesthetically pleasing in its shape. It just falls into your hands beautifully. Not too thick rimmed. It's not like some of the BMWs where it's just a bit over the top. This just feels right. It's the right balance. And of course, being a 2012 model, we have got things like Bluetooth on it. This particular one, because it's got the leather on it, and they haven't all got leather, these GTIs, so it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get that automatically. But when you get the leather, you also get the heated seats, which are an absolute joy. Nice and easy touchscreen. It's very easy to use. That is obviously your main controls are on these buttons on the outer edges, and you've still got nice simple dials to do the tuning and the volume. I like things like that in this era of Golf GTI. Obviously, they have got now a newer model out that has got touchscreens for absolutely everything, and I just don't find that as intuitive to drive. Plus, you've got the added things on the newer ones where you've got sort of the lane assist and the speed detection, which gives you a beep if you're over the speed limit. This is a Golf GTI, guys. We want a car that is fun to drive, not one that makes it feel like we're living in a nanny state. So for me, that's why I love these 2012 era of Mark 6s. To me, they're just the sweet spot. The Mark 5 GTI was a good driver's car, but the quality was a big dip after the Mark 4. But when they brought the Mark 6 out, all the sort of interior fixings on this car just feel very well constructed. There's no rattles or squeaks or clunks when you're driving it. So again, it's another reason that I like this particular era of GTI so much. You do get a full set of electric windows on this car and electric mirrors. They are heated, and we've got automatic headlights just down by here, as well as controls on the steering wheel for our Bluetooth system, our multimedia interface, and of course things like the volume on our stereo. So Easy to use, everything's at your fingertips. You've got a good view out of the road, nice big glass area, and not too many distractions, not too many things beeping at you because you just went 31 in the 30 zone, and because you didn't signal when you pulled back into the left lane on the motorway. That's the sort of irritation that you get on the brand new one. That's the sort of thing that's not present on this Mark 6 model, which I think it's all the better for having. The thing in the Mark 6 as well, the performance, well, in my opinion, it actually feels more eager than the new one. When you rev this car, it sounds so sweet and it wants to go. You just know this car wants to be put into sport mode, flick it down a lever on here, and off we flaming go. It's absolutely fantastic to drive. It's what a Golf GTI should be all about. It should be entertaining, it should be fun, it should be a car that you actually look forward to jumping in and taking down a twisty B road. So there you go, guys. If you're a bit like me and you like your performance cars, but also life means that you need 5 doors and a practical hatchback with a boot, the Golf GTI Mark 6 is probably not just one of the best Golf GTIs of all time, not even just one of the best hatchbacks of all time. This is actually one of the best cars of all time. They're just not making cars like this anymore. Everything now is going hybrid, electric, whichever way you want to. Crossovers, too high up, too much weight. This is one of the last proper hot hatchbacks. And, well, this one's available for sale if you're interested. So all it leaves me to say is if you are in the market for something like this, I think we've got one of the nice examples around here. The wheels will be getting refurbished on it. They're not horrifically bad, and I'm happy to do a bit of a deal on it for someone if they want to take it with the wheels as they are. But I think just putting some fresh centre caps on it and just getting rid of some of the little curb marks around the outer edges are going to make all the difference for this car, and it deserves to be absolutely perfect because it's a really shining example. If you're in the market for something like this, give me a call on 07932 873 646. Look at those LED lights. How cool is that? Also, how good does this thing sound? When we're looking at marks on them, that's what I'm talking about. Very light marks. Very light marks indeed. But something that we can get done on it very, very easily. It's not going to need a lot of work, that isn't, to get that perfect. So we'll be doing that. We'll be putting some new wheel centres on because I think that'll just freshen things up beautifully. And 07932 873 646 if you are interested in this car. Love to hear from you. And also please comment below and let us know your own experiences and your own thoughts on the Golf GTI. Greatest hot hatch of all time? Well, it's the original hot hatch, so without the Golf GTI would we even have the others? And also let me know your own personal favourite from Mark 1 through to the Mark 8 that's now out and in the VW showrooms. Which is, in your opinion, the best Golf of all time? Comment below, please. And thanks ever so much for watching. As ever, if you haven't done so already, please give us a like, hit the subscribe button, and click on the notifications, and you will be kept informed of cars that we've got coming into stock, and of course, other goings on at the garage. If you're a bit of a petrol head, we do have some interesting stuff that comes our way, and so I would love to hopefully hear from you. Please comment below and let us know your own thoughts on what you'd like to see on the channel. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day wherever you are. And from now, well, it's goodbye for me for now. Ta-da.